Well, good morning and welcome back to the Morning Report. Today is day 5, the final installment of the Great American Rebuild. And we're ending where we must, with courage. Because here's the truth. You can't rebuild anything. Not a nation, not a family, not a faith, without courage. And today's title tells it straight. We cannot afford cowards. Not anymore. Let's not sugarcoat it. We are living in the age of cowardice. We are living in a time where cowardice is called a virtue. The idea is that if you're saying I'm not getting involved. Well, yeah, I wouldn't get involved in that. And you're not getting involved because you don't have time. You're not getting involved because you don't have the expertise. You're getting involved because you're afraid. You're afraid to take a stand. You're a coward. So the thing is, so you let the bullies torture the old lady who lives next door alone because you don't want to get involved because you're afraid that they'll turn their anger towards you. So she gets tortured every day because you're afraid that they'll turn their anger towards you because you're a coward, and no one blames you, but you're a coward. And sometimes when you need to speak up, you don't. Last night it was not last night. It was last Saturday. I was at a retirement party for a dear friend, and her and I have known each other since she was in high school anyway. Uh, and some of the people that we've met along the way. I walked into the room, and one of the people that were mutual friends recognized me, and I mean, it's because it's been a while since I'd seen them. I think they moved to Texas or somewhere, and he said, "Listen, are you still doing your lives every day?" He asked me if I was still doing the lives from Blog Talk Radio days. I was like, "Ooh, oh, a long time ago." Uh, but I'm not doing lives, especially live audio podcasts, because I don't think there's a place to do them. I'm going to try Podbean. I've got it on my tray here. I'm going to try Podbean, but Blog Talk Radio used to be a place to do that. And of course, if you were on the list when I went live, you got a notification. And then Spreaker, where we do a lot of the audio casts, we take the audios from the videos that we do and put them on Spreaker. They used to have an option to go live. And I used to go live not just in the studio. I used to go live in my car because he mentioned that he remembers that that he would get the notification that I had gone live, and he could hear like the windshield wipers, and the turn signals and whatever because I was doing it from my car. And the thing he said that encouraged me was this: he said that you have the courage just to say what was going on. You didn't sugarcoat it. You weren't silent about it. And we started this adventure in 2008. I didn't even consider myself this, but apparently I was a black conservative. I didn't know what that was. I was a Republican that happened to be black, but that's as far as I went. I didn't know. There was just some things I thought were wrong that should be commented on, and nobody was commenting on them in the way that I thought was valuable. So I did. Well, there's a void. I think I'll fill that void. And some people call silence nuanced because not everything is where. So sometimes it's better. Compliance is called compassion. When they say that I am being non-compassionate, when this little boy who is 17 years old wants to run track with the girls, and well, he's trans. He's going through a lot. or she's going through a lot. No, 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 no. So what I'm going to say is no. Sorry, dude. You can't run with the girls. If you're going to, you can be an athlete. You can be on the track team, and if you're fast enough, you can run with the boys. You can't be on the girls volleyball team because you can't be on the girls volleyball team. Why? Because you're not a girl. That's what they call the girls volleyball team. Sorry, little girl, you can't be in the Boy Scouts. Why can't I be in the Boy Scouts? Because they call it the Boy Scouts. Well, you're not being very nice. Life is hard. Wear a helmet. You know, the Rolling Stones said it best. You don't always get what you want, right? So I'm looked at it as not being very compassionate because I just didn't say okay and become compliant. I just didn't wear a mask everywhere because I was supposed to. I didn't take a shot in my arm because that is what people were saying that I should do. My other job, I worked in the amusement park industry, and the big amusement park, Disney, was about to make taking the COVID vaccine um, part of your employment that you had to. Now, the company that I worked for obviously was considering that, but they didn't go the whole line. They didn't go the whole way. Well, because it was being pushed as the compassionate thing to do because we wanted to make sure that we weren't hurting other people. No, so I guess I was seen as not compassionate because I decided not to comply, and passive passivity is being called wisdom. Let's be real here. It's not wisdom to keep quiet when evil is winning, when it's obvious that evil is winning. The things that we see, what we see at right now at the taping of this particular broadcast, we see that there are people rioting in Los Angeles to protect illegal aliens, people who aren't supposed to be in this country in the first place. Now, you can be sad about it because some of these cases are sad, heart wrenching. But the fact of the matter is that almost all of these folks put themselves in this position. And they knew that there would be some day of reckoning. And that day of reckoning is now. And you can blame Trump and you can blame Tom Holman. You can blame anybody you want. You could be mad at the ICE agents that are out there doing their job. But the fact of the matter is you need to be angry. People need to be angry at a system that allowed some of these poor folks to think that they were okay for 20 years when they were not, when they were never okay. Because everybody was too cowardly to actually speak up. It's not wisdom to see evil winning, the wrong what was wrong winning, and not say anything. It's fear, and that fear is costing us everything. Folks, courage built this country. Let's remember what real courage looked like. The men at Valley Forge, freezing, starving, at the end, at the very end, but still fighting. The civil rights marchers, beaten on bridges, dogs sicked on them, fire hoses, still walking, still marching. To courage. People who are whistleblowers, truth tellers. Now, if you've had an education like we have, we learned that the term whistleblowing is not new. We're talking about there was people turning the muckrakers who were exposing uh, awful things happening in factories in America and in the food industry in America. years ago, the truth tellers, and now the parents at school board meetings today, talking out loud about what their kids are being given to read. Let's discuss who's coming in to read stories. And they're standing against the mob. They're standing against the mob. And the mob includes people on the school board. It includes teachers. It includes other members in their community who are coming after them for standing up in front of everybody, being videotaped, standing up. Courage. I love this definition of courage. Courage is in the absence of fear. It is not. That's insanity. Courage is doing what's right in spite of the fear. That's what America was built on. And we need to reclaim that right now. The current system that we live in now absolutely hates people who are brave. Do you ever wonder why the system punishes courage so quickly? You remember the scene in Bug's Life? I like that movie, where the bugs have brought the food, and the big cricket is talking to the other crickets, and what he ends up saying is that if those ants ever figure out that there are more of them than there are of us, our way of life is through. I'd love to put that in the video here, but I'd take the copyright hit for it. But you remember that scene, right? If those ants ever figure out that there are more of them than there are of us, our way of life is through. And this is the system that we live in now. Because nothing threatens tyranny like a free man who isn't afraid. Talk about biological truths like some we talked about here already today. Get banned. Expose corruption. You'll get smeared. Defend your faith or your family. You may be labeled an extremist. And this isn't just a coincidence. The powers that be would rather you stay frightened, scared, scrolling, and silent. Because when you speak, others realize that they are not alone. And this is why I continue to do this. Like I said in an earlier video, we've been doing this since the Willie Lawson show. Actually started with the Rational Black Man show, then the Willie Lawson show, and then Fight Back Media, and then there was something else, and now the Morning Report on Fight Back Media. And people ask, well, have you caught on yet? I don't know. This YouTube channel has been around for 12 or 13 years, and we still have less than 1,000 subscribers. So, in the natural, no. But what I do know, and I know by it because I talked to some people at that retirement party who know that I'm still out here doing this, that my voice, no matter how small, when I talk about it here on YouTube, like I am a micro creator, a nano creator. Some people are mega creators. I'm maybe a micro creator, less than 1,000. We're like 130, 129 subscribers away from 1,000. Hopefully, we can, with these series that we're doing, we can get that up to 1,000, and maybe get monetized. Some, maybe, possibly. We're still 3,200 hours away from getting the amount of hours viewed for monetization. So we're a long way. But what I do know is that when we say something, I'm not always just talking to myself, here in the back bedroom of my house, or in my car, or in my teaching studio. I'm actually talking to people. There are those of you who hear me. There may be, you might look in there, and that last video might have 10 views. Somebody heard it. They might not have heard all of it, but somebody heard it. And just by scrolling, somebody sees that, oh, he's still, I'm still talking. Before Blog Talk Radio went away, I would occasionally get a wild hair and do a live. And there would always be somebody who would call, because it was a call-in thing, and I would answer just on a whim. And they would always go, "You're still out here. You're still doing this." And my answer always is, "Yeah, why not? I used to listen to you back in the day." Yeah. And people are still listening. People are still hearing. So when you speak, others realize that they are not alone. And that's dangerous to the system's control, because you cannot be silenced. I was telling the person I was talking to at the retirement gathering, I don't work for anybody. So they can't tell, there's nobody to tell me what to say. And more importantly, there's nobody to tell me what not to say, or no one telling me how to say it. It's freedom. So if you need to see what modern courage looks like, look at these examples. Parents who are standing up at school board meetings. Now, think about most school board meetings. Now, I happen to live in the 8th largest school district in the country. But if you're at a school board meeting, there are a couple of hundred people at the meeting, the school board, their staff, other people waiting to speak. And one of the most frightening things for people to do is to do public speaking. A lot of people are terrified by it. You think a lot of people who are like teachers or doctors or whatever, because of the life they have, the job they have, talking to people all the time, that it wouldn't bother them. But it bothers them too. So it takes an incredible amount of courage to get called to the mic and get your 3 minutes to say your piece. It takes even more courage when you know that what you're going to talk about for your 3 or 5 minutes or whatever it is going to be antithetical to what a lot of people in the room believe, that you are going up against the grain. So parents who actually get the huevos to speak out at a school board meeting, that's an example to you of what modern courage looks like. Businesses during COVID that just refused to close. Gyms, restaurants, churches. They said, we're not closing. If Walmart can be open 7 days a week, 16 hours a day, then my church can be open twice a week, once on Sunday, once on Wednesday or Thursday, for a couple of hours. No, we're not closing. We're not going to go online and just do it online all the time. We're not. We're going to open the building. We're going to let people come in. We're going to let them pray corporately, sing corporately, like these churches in California that were banning singing. What? No. So those pastors who said, no, we're going to be open. Courage. You remember the truckers who formed Convoy for Freedom in Canada? Courage, because they had something to lose. I'm not just saying me, but independent voices like this one who are broadcasting truth no matter what it costs. Well, these aren't just stories. These are blueprints for you. This, I tell people you can do it. I tell all the time, you can do this too. I tell all my students that none of this is that hard. If it can be done by man before, it can be done by man again. If you are a person who, now this is for those of you who are watching this, if you're a person that you'd like to do something like this too, that you feel like all this angst and all this stuff is shut up in your bones, and you want to do this, send me an email at fightbackmedia@gmail.com, fightbackmedia@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to do whatever I can to help you get started. I'd be thrilled, honored indeed. Because courage, my friend, is contagious. When one person stands, other people remember how to stand. Going forward, we need a culture of the brave. So it's really time to stop raising our kids to be safe, to do the safe thing, to be careful. It's time to raise them to be strong. Start rewarding people for speaking truth, not just keeping the peace, but actually saying what's real, saying what's true. Here's what that courage looks like right now. Tell your kids the truth, even if it's not politically correct. Tell them that no, men cannot have babies. Men do not have periods. They do not. Boys can't turn into girls. They cannot. Starting a business when the odds are stacked against you, because they are anyway. Starting a business is hard stuff. Preach the gospel. Even when the church down the street just put up rainbow flags, preach the gospel. It doesn't matter what other people are doing. It doesn't even matter what you see a lot of the time. It doesn't matter. Stand on the truth. Stand on something firm. Saying no, even if it costs you friends, it may cost you money, it may even cost you your job. It's time to be the kind of person your grandkids will thank. I'm so glad that grandma said no here and stood her ground. I'm so glad that grandpa was immovable and steadfast and staunch in his beliefs. Not that, oh, I'm so glad that, that grandma and grandpa just complied and went along. No one's ever going to say that. You want to be the kind of grandparent that your grandkids will thank. Yeah, my granddad was tough. He was tough. He ain't put up with nothing. He was a truth teller. Not that, oh, my granddad understood nuance. Please. Be the kind of person that your grandchildren are going to thank, not the kind they wonder about. Folks, that's a wrap on the Great American Rebuild. We've rebuilt trust. We defended the family. We have reclaimed the pulpit and restored pride in work. And today, we found our courage. Now, the question is, will you live it? Fight isn't won by the loudest. It's won by the most faithful, the consistent, the courageous, and the committed. So speak, build, resist, and lead. And whatever you do, don't be coward. My name is Willie Lawson. This is the Moon Report. The Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. Until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody. And for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We'll see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.